Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Always Connected podcast. I'm laughing about something that just happened, and I'll share it with you in a minute because it's too good not to share. But our topic today was suggested by one of you, our Awaken Way community members. It was at the top of the list, and it happens to be one of the questions I am asked at almost every event where I answer questions from the audience. And that question is, what happens if my loved one reincarnates before I cross the veil? Anybody in your soul family who has passed, they're across the veil, you want to hear from them from a medium, but what if I cross the veil and they're not there? My guides say, tell them right off the bat. I was going to make you wait for the answer, but I can absolutely assure you, you will meet your loved ones if that is your soul's desire. And I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. We're going to talk for a little bit about this topic. Then I'm going to bring on screen some of you, because this is a live podcast. And then we'll ask my guides your questions. My guides, Sanaya, are standing by. They twitch my lips sometimes. I can't show it to you, but they did it just before we went on air. So I know that we are tuned in and ready to answer your questions. And then we'll have a wildcard moment at the end where all of us can see what Spirit has in store for us related to today's topic. So before we get going, I just had what can only be called an open mic moment. And that, you know, is when somebody is getting ready to go on stage or just comes off stage or is a radio producer and doesn't realize that their mic is on and has a conversation and people overhear it. So I always test the system before we come on. I have several people in the waiting room. By the way, if you want to come on the show today while I'm talking, let me put that. That is not today's link. Hang on, let me see. There we go. You can copy that link and come in the waiting room backstage for coming on stage later. So meanwhile, I was testing the system and I didn't remember that if I'm on stage, anybody backstage can hear what I'm saying. I thought I had taken myself off stage, got lots of time. So I'm thinking about my wonderful soul sister, Lynette, and I texted her and she said, I was just thinking about you. So I called her. Now, why was she just thinking about me? Who thought of the other person first? That's just soul connection. And she and I are like soul sisters. So I picked up the phone and I called her, and I didn't realize that our whole conversation is on screen for those in the studio, just the few people that were backstage. And happily, ever since I started living the awakened way, I no longer gossip. I don't speak poorly of anybody. Yeah, I'm checking with my guides. I really don't. I pause before I speak. And if anything comes out of my mind that comes from the human, out of my mouth that comes from the human side, I immediately catch it and correct it. So I didn't say anything that I wouldn't have said that I didn't want anybody to hear, but it was kind of silly what I was saying. And I said to Lynette, I've never shared that story. I should share it publicly sometime. And she laughed. So I'm going to do it right now. I'll just tell everybody what I was saying. We were both talking about how we've come from a background where we did not understand oneness at all. And oneness really ties into today's topic about reincarnation, because at the deepest level of all of us, we are souls, eternal souls that do not die. So if you do not die, what are we living here? We're living a story that the soul is enacting. It's very real, but that story continues across the veil and the soul carries it eternally, whether or not it's living other stories. So oneness is the fact that each soul is this beautiful expression of the one divine mind, one source, one light, and can't be divided. When you come to experience this connection with each other, then it becomes a visceral knowing within you that we are all connected. And I said, and she said, Lynette said she didn't understand oneness, so it was, not that meaningful to her. And I told her that my very first book was called Conquer Your Cravings. It's out of print now, but I wrote it when I was still on active duty in the Navy. I didn't have any spiritual understanding. I talked a bit about intuition, but that didn't have to do with the soul in the book. So anybody that finds that book, I believe it may still be in Kindle form, will not find any of the teachings that I share now. This was before my Susan passed. And I remember going to a wellness fair in Washington, D.C., because I was stationed at the Pentagon at the time. And I went, not in uniform, of course, to have a booth to sell and promote the book, Conquer Your Cravings. And what I was sharing with Lynette is I looked around and here are all these people, these new age people, notice the tone in my voice, walking around saying, namaste, namaste to each other. And I just remember rolling my eyes and saying, oh boy, this namaste stuff. And now I do the namaste pose all the time. It has the deepest meaning to me now. Okay, the guides say it. Here's how I feel when I do this. And namaste can mean, you can say it in multiple ways, but to me, it means I honor the place in you that is of love, of light, of life itself. When you are in that state in you, and I am in that place state in me, we are one as the very one. That's what namaste means. It honors and recognizes the oneness and the connection that we all share. So I look back at then when I would roll my eyes and say, oh, those namaste people, that kind of feeling that I'm radiating now, the disdain and the laughter and the judgment is who I was back then before I understood this connection. And now that's not me. And I'm so grateful. I mean, that's fine that I was in that place, but to see the journey to come to this place where I do see the soul in everyone is part of this awakening process. And it takes a long time to get to the point where you don't slip back and you don't gossip and you don't judge. And if you do, you catch yourself and don't judge yourself and say, there's the human side coming through. So that was a little aside, got off topic here. So let's get back on topic. Today's topic. Here we go. What if my loved one reincarnates before I pass? Well, this, of course, this topic today depends upon you understanding what reincarnation is and how it works. I know that I didn't even believe in reincarnation when I started down this path, and I asked my guide Sanaya about it, and they reassured me that it's real. And they wanted me to talk to you today about the 3 E's of living the awakened way. And those are about any topic that you don't understand, educate yourself, experience for yourself the topic, and engage higher consciousness about the topic. So let's just focus right at the beginning on educate yourself about reincarnation. The number one name that comes to mind about reincarnation, if you're not familiar with him, is Dr. Ian Stevenson. I believe he's passed, but his work sets the standard for deep research into evidence-based stories about reincarnation. And he interviewed over 2,000 children who remember and recount spontaneously past lives. Many of them have birthmarks or some indication that relates to a past life that they related, and the families traveled and met with the family who has a loved one who passed, and the child says they're a reincarnation of that person. They remember the families, they remember the towns. The sheer preponderance of the evidence in these cases is enough to convince our rational mind this is real. So that takes care of the human side of us. But the soul knows this is real. So experience this for yourself by going into an expanded state and engaging your guides or higher consciousness or your loved ones who have passed, and ask them personally about the topic. When I didn't believe in reincarnation, I asked my guides. And one night in the middle of the night, my main spirit guide, Boris, woke me up at 3 a.m. and shared with me about a lifetime I had in Russia back in the late 1800s. And he said it explained, number one, why he has in this lifetime taken on the name Boris. It explained why when I went to, he and I were in that lifetime together, he said. It explained why, when I went to college to major in Spanish, I was so drawn to study Russian, which they offered at my college, and overnight learned the Cyrillic language. And my guides just said, relearned it because I used to write it in that lifetime. Just instantly knew it, picked up Russian so easily. And that night when Boris came to me, the Russian all came flooding back. I wrote his notes in Russian. Not, well, how many years ago was this? I don't know, 10, 12. I don't know how long ago it was, but it was definitely before 2017. Because in 2017, I went to England for another round of studying with Mavis Patilla, my original mediumship mentor who has passed. And while I was there, my Susan, who was my stepdaughter who passed, struck by lightning while on active duty in the Marines, came to me in England while I was studying mediumship. And she said, Suzanne, you and I were in the same family in that lifetime in Russia. I was your mother. Well, this sounded ridiculous to me, but I've learned while engaging those in spirit to be open. At the time Boris came to me and shared with me that lifetime that we had, he gave me specific historical facts from that era that I couldn't possibly know. The next morning, I Googled them. All of them were accurate. And these were historical facts I had never learned, not as a Russian major, not studying history ever. So I knew that connection was true. But here's my stepdaughter saying, I was your mother in that lifetime. This really took me outside of my human box about understanding and believing how reincarnation works. And I said, playing the sign game with Susan, which I encourage all of you to do when you sense you're communicating with someone across the veil, what sign will you show me to validate if I can believe what you just told me? She instantly put in my mind's eye, and I was just out for a walk. I wasn't even in meditation when she dropped in on me to share this. She put in my mind's eye an image of a pink Fabergé egg. Now, Fabergé eggs, of course, come from Russia and the era that I allegedly shared a lifetime with Susan and Boris. And I said, Susan, when we play the sign game, you're supposed to see those in the next couple of days. I'm in England. Why am I going to see a Russian Fabergé egg? And she just kind of smiled and said, do you trust? And I do. I know this connection with Susan is very real. So put it out of my mind. I'm not reading the news. I'm not using the internet while I'm at the Arthur Findlay College studying mediumship in England. But the very next day, I left to head home. I was at a hotel at Gatwick Airport waiting for my flight the next morning. Susan dropped in on me. She said, go walk around the hotel lobby and practice noticing things, like you quickly glimpse things in a reading so that you test your memory of things you quickly see. I said, okay, let's do that together. I walk out into the lobby of the hotel. Susan's with me. She says, Suzanne, stop. I stopped. She says, look to your left. There to my left was the hotel gift shop in London, England, mind you. And what is on the shelf? This pink Fabergé egg, exactly like she put in my mind's eye. You better believe I bought this. I would have bought this if this cost hundreds of dollars. It was so precious to me because of the meaning behind it, that not only was my connection with Susan real, but I now trusted her, that we had gone round and round in lives before, that her passing in this lifetime has meaning. It has helped me go on to honor her by sharing the messages of hope with all of you, that we are eternal souls. Happily, it only costs $34 because it's a cheap invitation. But again, it's precious. I keep it here where I see it across the room from me, and got it down off the shelf today to share with you, to show you that the personal experience is what will take you from believing to knowing. So yeah, we've established now, hopefully you can trust, or at least open your mind to the possibility that reincarnation is real. But many people who believe in reincarnation are afraid that we leave this life, and after a period of respite across the veil, we're going to take on another life as a soul. And that means, incorrectly, that when your loved ones pass, you won't be there anymore. You'll be off as a farmer in Nebraska or something. I just made that up, that scenario. But what I've learned, and I've also talked with other metaphysical teachers about this. One of them, Dr. Christopher Beisch, who's been on my podcast. Be sure to catch that one. That is an outstanding, informative discussion about consciousness. Dr. Beisch is a professor emeritus of religious studies at the university level. And I reached out to him when I was questioning this during my education phase about reincarnation. And I had a feeling of how this worked, but I love his analogy best of all. And he and I both agree that the soul is not limited to one lifetime. Of course not. The soul is a pattern of consciousness. And within it are various patterns that are actually lifetimes. And those patterns contain your characteristics, your traits, your memories, some of which resonate with other lifetimes within this greater soul. So why don't we talk about the concept of an oversoul with multiple souls within it? You are both the soul and the oversoul. And guess what? The one divine soul. That's oneness. And so Dr. Beisch's beautiful metaphor, which I've used, or analogy I've used since with his permission, is it's very helpful to see the oversoul like a deck of cards. And each lifetime within that greater soul is one hand in that deck of cards. I love that analogy because we use the expression here, well, this is the hand I was dealt. And I would change that right now at my guide's suggestion to, this is the hand you chose, because these specific cards will allow you to enjoy and experience certain personality traits. It will enjoy you to interact with the hand of your parents in this lifetime because of their hand that they chose to play in this lifetime. So I know that my hand this time contains a card for patience, because that's one of my greatest challenges. It contained a card of greater awakening than in another hand that I played. I know that in that past lifetime, I had a difficult relationship with my mother, who was Susan. She was domineering. So I know that the mother card was a major one for me in this lifetime. Are you beginning to understand? Now, that shows how it is possible. It's one way to conceptualize having various lifetimes. And yes, at the level of consciousness, they're all playing out at one time. It boggles the minds to think, well, then how can the past history affect this lifetime? We're not going to get into that today. But can you see that that story of you, the pattern of consciousness, the hand that you were dealt, continues being played across the veil? It's always going to be a unique pattern within the oversoul. Yes, what you learn and experience in this lifetime feeds into the oversoul's overall pattern. And it continues across the veil even while the soul is enjoying other lifetimes. My guides just reminded me of a story that Ty tells often about one of his shipmates on his first ship when he was in the Navy, who was an absolute savant. And he could play and would play 4 games of chess at one time, blindfolded in his stateroom on the ships. And various officers would come in, because they were all officers, and they would make a move, and his roommate would make a move on the various games, keeping them all going at once. And the guide said, perfect analogy, how the oversoul is capable of so much more than us. It's hard enough for us to keep one lifetime, one story going and manage it, right? But the oversoul is not limited like we are by these nervous systems. So it is playing these stories, whether incarnated or after the incarnation, across the veil. This story that the oversoul is living, the soul family members still in a body are having a reading with a medium. We need to activate this story consciously and interact. It's not like the story goes to sleep. That story continues across the veil, but it lights up for those of us here when we think of our loved ones. When we cross the veil, the soul is there, fully activated, interacting with you to meet and greet you and carry on the story as long as it serves all the oversouls involved. Just think of this one big web that we're part of. I will share one more story before we bring some guests on to ask questions about this. But as part of the educating yourself process, I highly recommend a book called Soul Survivor, and that's SOUL, Soul Survivor. There's another story, SOLE Survivor, about a Navy SEAL, I believe in Afghanistan. So you want the one about the little boy who remembered so clearly his past life that he was sharing it with his parents, and they finally figured out what was going on. So he's the perfect child for one of Ian Stevenson's research studies. This young boy remembered a past life as a Navy pilot in World War II. He knew the ship, he knew the squadron he was part of. They were able to identify where he crashed and died during combat. They took this little boy, his parents took him to a reunion of his squadron mates who are now in his 80s at the time. And that little boy with witnesses would walk up to certain members and say, for example, "You're George Johnson. I recognize your voice." Anybody else get the goosebumps? Those to me are NOE moments. No other explanation than that we go around and around as souls, incarnating for the joy of it, the experience, and the experience of new characteristics and traits and cultures, etc. So, and those carry over to this lifetime. So my reason for telling that specific story is also in the book Soul Survivor. The parents take the little boy to the home where he had a sister who's still alive. She's also in her probably 80s at this time. He walks in and he knows this old lady because she was his sister in a past life. He runs down the hall. He says, "This was my room." He shares things that were on the desk in that room, all accurate. To me, that's just like evidential mediumship. You can't deny that this is coming from a deeper level. And here's the point of this. I know that if I ever sat with that, let me get it straight here. Is it with the sister or the boy? That's it. If I ever sat and did a reading for that sister, the older lady, to connect with her loved ones across the veil, there is zero doubt in my mind I would be able to connect very clearly with her brother, who was a Navy pilot in World War II and died in an airplane crash. And I would get details that I wouldn't know that were not in that book. And I would feel his presence. He would interact with me real time because I was interacting with the oversoul. And that little boy who was his incarnation could be sitting right beside me, and it wouldn't matter. It would be the same oversoul. Are you beginning to get a bigger idea? Oh, yeah. Today's Daily Way message on the Awaken Way app speaks exactly to this. Every time I do a reading or a podcast, the daily message comes up, and now I understand why. It was about having today's message, a miracle mindset. And to me, a miracle is simply when we expand beyond these little boxes that we have our belief system in and open up to the fact that we are part of a greater reality. And that's going to open you up to possibly learning about past lives that you've had and why you do certain things in this life because they're carryovers from other lives that are part of your oversoul right here, right now. And why you can have certain pets in your life, Lynette, that exhibit traits and characteristics of beloved pets who are across the veil. And if I were to do a pet reading, I would tap into that pet in the past, even though that pet is now enjoying a life again with you now. So isn't that a great topic? I hope it has given you some food for thought, and you're going to want to go and perhaps do my Bless Me method. Look for the video on the gifts page of my website about that and do that method with the intention of learning more about a past life and talking to your loved ones who have passed and say, I look forward to seeing you when I cross the veil. All right, next up, we're going to bring some of you on. We are going to chat with Spirit to answer your questions. Before I do so, this is a big day for me. I get to talk to all of you for an hour now, but tonight, if you're watching live on May 31st, tonight at 10 p.m. Pacific, so that's 1 a.m. Eastern time or wherever you are in the United States, this is a local radio show across the United States, but it's also online on Coast to Coast Radio. I'll be going live for 2 hours on the Coast to Coast Radio show. 3 million listeners at any one time. So I hope that some of you will be some of those listeners as I talk about how I came to know how all of this is real. And sometimes I've been on Coast to Coast 3 or 4 times. Sometimes they have me bring through people live. We'll see how that unfolds tonight. Also, Tuesday night is my monthly connection webinar that's live once a month on Tuesday nights. So much to share from Spirit. You can find out about that and register at SuzanneGiesemann.com. But equally exciting is Tuesday, June 2nd, is the launch of my new book, Always Connected. The name of the podcast, Always Connected. We're going to do a live event to celebrate that the book is out June 2nd, this Tuesday, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 p.m. Make a note, live here on YouTube and Facebook. I'm going to read a passage from the book, a real fun story that I know you'll enjoy. Going to bring on a friend who's already read the book and see how she liked it, and just share with you why you might want to check it out. So check out the live event and help build the energy with me. All right, that's it for the announcements for now. The topic is, what if my loved one reincarnates before I pass? I hope we have already put your minds at ease, that you don't need to have any concern about that. Let me take a breath and slow down, because as I bring you on now, I'm going to tune into Sanaya to see what they have to say. Stick around for the wildcard moment after all the Q&As. Those of you coming on, I ask you to keep any sharing to a minimum. Ask a question related to our topic. And anybody else who'd like to come on, there's the link to come on screen. Jennifer, you've been waiting longest. I'm going to bring you on stage now. Hey, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning.
I'm a little hard, so I did not hear any of your conversation clearly.
The open mic moment I talked about.
Secret is secret.
I shared it all. It's all good.
Okay. I don't know because I didn't hear the first time. Yeah. But my question is related. It's about, I'm looking forward to being reunited with my husband when I cross the veil. It's something I'm looking forward to, not fearing death. But this is my question. If our souls are forever, infinite, and we reunite with our loved one, if there's the concept that there are different levels for souls based on our spiritual growth, what if the level my husband's soul is at from his lifetime with me and the level of my soul at this lifetime when I go home, what if they're different levels? How can we be reunited?
That is such a great question. And Sanaya is putting in my mind my relationship with Ty, and he'll be the first one to tell you and anyone, Suzanne's on a different plane. And yet he's my soulmate. He bought me a license plate that says my Lamo, my love of my life. It's right there on the car. It goes both ways.
Beautiful.
And yet we're definitely at different levels. But what the guides say right now is love is love. Our souls will learn and experience interactions with different beings across the veil who take us to higher levels. But that love is an infinite bond. And your soul family, they're showing me, is made up of souls who are experiencing different levels. And yet that's why we go around lifetime after lifetime with each other. So that love binds you forever as a soul family. And Just they're showing me a graduation ceremony, just like you attend a graduation ceremony for a family member who's the first one to go to college, right? They're not now going to go off and leave you forever. They're just, you celebrate. Oh, look where you are. What can we learn from you now? That kind of thing. You're
Okay.
going to, ooh, goosebumps. I feel
Okay.
it from all of you. Yeah, right. Love is love. And they also tell me that to be sure to tell everybody right now that if you're in a relationship with somebody that's been very challenging and you don't want to see them again, they will not be the first to greet you. But you will ultimately, and this doesn't apply to you right now, Jennifer, but you will eventually recognize the soul family member in each other. You will see through the stories that we're playing, these roles we're playing, and you'll recognize the past lives and the other lives you've had where you got along great. And you'll say, wow, look what kind of went wrong in that one lifetime where we didn't get along and we made bad choices. Let's make sure we don't make those choices in the next time where we go round and round and take on different roles. So I hope that's reassuring to you. Your husband says we'll be dancing again.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. Okay. Yeah, that makes me feel so much better.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Excellent question. Led to something that helps everybody. And that's what I love about this show, that it's good for all of us. Yay. Okay. So topic again. What if my loved one passes before I do? I see. Oh, yeah. We do have enough people in the waiting room that I'll be able to get to everybody. So thank you all for your patience. Linda, you ready? You are on the show. Welcome to Always Connected Live. Go ahead and you ask your question.
Yes, I'm ready.
Go.
Okay. Hey, thank you for having me. So my question is, I know that we have our soul family, and we can, we can come back and be like, siblings instead, or parents instead. But do we also come back to the same family? So in other words, like where I, can be my own great 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 grandpa.
Oh, there's a little church, because at first I thought, oh, I don't know the answer to that. And the guides are saying, yes, you do know the answer to that, because you can be a soul mate that's in your soul family. And I'm thinking of Ty and Lynette, my soul sister, right? Lynette, we'll have to figure out what relationship in a family we once shared. Right now we're friends, but I was told that Ty was a family member of mine in that family in Russia. I have yet to discern with any evidence what family member that was, but in this lifetime, we only met well into this lifetime, right? So yeah, you go round and round in different relationships, and you know a person is soul family when you meet them, don't you?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh my
I don't
gosh,
know
you can
why.
hear me. That's so funny. Well, hopefully she will go online and listen to the replay, and you'll get your answer, because it was a good
Thank
one
you.
from Spirit.
Bye.
That's so funny. Okay, she was very patient with us, and thank you all for your patience. This is the challenge with the live show, but it does leave an element of what's going to happen, what answer is Spirit going to give, because I don't know what your questions are. So thank you again for just minimal sharing, but getting right to the topic and a question that relates to that. Let's see, Martisa, I can't see you or hear you, so I can't bring you on the show. Oh, now you've suddenly shown up. I hope we'll hear you, because you're on.
Yes,
All right.
yes. So you've answered two of my three questions already.
Excellent.
So yes, thank you. One of them was I had a medium tell me that my son wanted to come back to my family and would maybe as a grandchild. So you just answered that with the last question. So now my question is, um, who decides? How is it decided um, when they will reincarnate, when a soul will reincarnate? How is
Okay.
that? How is that decided?
Whew, I'm taking my breath away with this one. The guys, they say there are so many elements that, hang on, my alarm just went off on my phone. That's supposed to be for tonight for the Coast to Coast show. It went off 12 hours early. So anyway, shifting back. The elements that go into the decision are more than you can imagine. So it's going to be, of course, to make sure that the parents and the other family members are in the roles that will be most helpful. But the timing is very important as well. And the timing they're showing me is for like the alignment of the planets. I am not into astrology at all. I know very little about it, but they say that you can put a lot of trust in astrology so that you decide the timing so that you come in with a certain astrological sign when the planets are aligned in a certain way, so that the traits and characters and interests that you have in that certain incarnation will be much easier for you to experience. So the soul is making that decision, the oversoul, right? Along with the souls of the ones who are already incarnated, because that soul is always active across the veil at the same time. Okay.
Thank you.
That was an
Thank you.
excellent question. Thank you. All right. And our topic again is, what if my loved one reincarnates before I pass? If you're joining us live, we had a big discussion about this at the beginning, so you can rewind later and catch all of that. But right now we're in the Let's Chat with Spirit phase, bringing folks online. Sherry, I can't see you, so I don't know if your camera's on. If you want to activate your camera, I'll bring you on after the next guest. For now, Lisa, do you want to come on stage? Give me a thumbs up if you do. Yep. Okay. So welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks very much. Well, I was wondering about incarnation for the next time. How about if you know you like who you are as a person now, and you see all the badness in the world, and you don't want to be that in a future life?
Let me tell you.
Like, that's my fear. That holds me back a lot. Is like, I don't want to be a nasty person, or I don't want to be someone who's mean. Strange one now, I know, sorry.
Not a strange question. It's such a beautiful question right now, Lisa. I would like to ask, well, first let me acknowledge that it is your soul right now that's doing its very best to show you that you are love in a body, and you are here to shine that love on the world, but most of all on yourself first, and to show you that you are worthy of this lifetime right now. I can tell your soul knows this because you're longing for it in the next lifetime, but that longing is actually for it in this lifetime. It is never too late to start in this moment now, based on what that soul brought to you to this moment now, to just transform your lifetime now. Our goal is to take back across the veil brighter light than we came in as in the body, shining. And it's never too late to start that, but we start by shining it on ourselves. And I want to ask everybody, one of the most beautiful parts about doing this with this community is everybody listening. Let's shine our lights on ourselves, on Lisa, on everybody else here, to let us feel our own self-worth, because we are sparks of the divine that can be ignited into just this beautiful flame. Now I know why my guides wanted me to light my candle, which I didn't do before we started, because they wanted me to hold up the flame. I'm sorry, I didn't listen. I was afraid I'd forget to turn it out or blow it out. But regardless, okay, let's go ahead and do it. It's never too, so cool. They're saying it is never too late to light that spark within you. So there we go. Just turn up your light and know that because of that desire, there is no doubt that in the next lifetime, you'll get to practice that. Again, we don't like to use the word work on it, because once you start shining that light on yourself, once you start saying, what if I really am divine right here, right now? It grows and it grows and it grows, and you feel it, and there's no turning back. But then you get to this point where you say, now I want to remember earlier in my life next time. And that's why you choose to come back. I want to remember earlier. But if you take nothing more from this, everybody else listening, it is never too late. That's why the guides say the past is just a thought right now. Life is about the experience and the choices you make moment by moment right now. So find some new phrases that empower you. Catch yourself when you go to the past and regret and self-shaming and all of those human layers that block that light within us, just catch it and say, that was then, this is now. Okay?
Yeah.
Sending you so much love. Thank you for sharing that with all of us.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Wow. I want to thank Harold for asking this question. Even though I've answered it so many times, we all realize that people hear what they need to hear when they're ready. And there's a lot of beautiful wisdom coming from Spirit today that I know a lot of you were ready to hear. Brenda, you ready to come on stage? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I had to move. My battery was going down, so I think we can see each other. Real quick, how do you spell Christopher Bash, that last name?
Bache is Bache. So when you're finished
Okay.
this show on YouTube, search Suzanne Giesemann Christopher Bache.
Okay.
It's powerful.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I'm very interested in all of that and the consciousness, and I've even been reading the Sargadatta, which I know you have in the past years ago.
Nisargadatta Maharaj.
Yes, which is a whole nother. But anyway.
Okay, back to the topic. Question.
No, but I love it. But so that brings me to, if we all have these oversouls and we all have these reincarnations, and like you have an oversoul, I do, everybody, but then each of our oversouls is part of the big one source, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So what's the end game? I mean,
Okay,
I eternal. You got it?
I got it.
Okay.
So imagine you are this beautiful sea of consciousness, limitless. There's no boundaries, just being. Consciousness is aware of being. But that awareness, after a while, it has so much potential. It just has to use that potential to create and express this potential. So it's like the first wave arises in the sea.
Yeah.
And now we have form. Now we have expression. Well, you see, and that's cool. Now I'm experiencing something new, up and down, arising and subsiding. That's new. Wow, that's cool. I knew that was in here. But after a while, even that gets a little old. So let's create another wave. Now we have two waves, and the two waves are interacting, and that creates different patterns, and on and on and on it goes. And every wave is a different size and shape and comes in at different times and interacts. And this is fun, because the basic sea at the very bottom is still and unaffected by all this waving. So it may not be fun in the human form at times, and the waves crash upon the shore. But the basic essence is saying it's all about the experience and the creativity. And when we get we're the sea, that's when we suffer. Okay? That's what it's all about.
Is the goal eventually then to be more of an observer of it all, instead of like getting involved in every lifetime, maybe experience, see it, but don't get too attached to each life?
The goal is to experience the fullness of it all and rest. And that's why the waves go up and the waves subside. And that's why I say after a lifetime here, every night we sleep. And and the story just subsides for a while. We rest. Across the veil, when I say that story is activated, does it mean your loved one stops living the story across the veil? Well, it arises and it subsides, but it always arises again. So we don't know the rhythm of the story across the veil. I just know that wave is going to arise across the veil. I don't think I answered that second question completely.
I just wondered if, I think there are some, since everything is simultaneous, and there are some of these, I'm talking about the gurus, like who are in a space where they can see it all and witness it all, but they are unaffected by it.
Yes.
Is that kind of a goal?
Yeah, I read those books like from Nisargadatta Maharaj. I am that. And he was very flat, emotive. Emotionally, there's no emotion there. Look at me. I know. Get kind of out there. I can have my flat days too, but it's all part of the fullness. Okay. So I just watched the near-death experience story of someone yesterday, and that person has given up all earthly possessions. and experiences. And I thought, well, that's his path.
Yes.
I'm here for the ride, you
Okay.
know? So as long as the accumulating and all of that doesn't become your end goal, it's the experience.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
And yeah. So enjoy it all. Love in full expression. Life. You came
Okay.
here as source for love in full expression.
Okay.
And that includes grief for those of you, you know, that the birth and the death is all part of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
You
you.
brought, yeah, I lost my son a couple of years ago. So this is really opening me up. Yeah.
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 And that grief, you know, when you have a child who passes, you say, I never would have signed up for this. But you as source, you know, there's an arising and there's a subsiding, but your son is still part of that. We move forward with them. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to try to get to a few more here. Sherry, you've been waiting a while. Do you give me a thumbs up if you want to come on the show? Yes, ma'am. Welcome to Always Connected.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My question is, if a loved one has passed and you're trying to reach them, how can you validate that they have not reincarnated? And I haven't been able to reach my loved one.
Okay. Well, the premise of today's show is they may have reincarnated and you can still connect with them. This is the point. This is very important. So you can ask, when you connect with them, play the sign game to validate, like I did with Susan. Like I'd say, I better blow out this candle now because it's so low, I might not notice that it's still burning. Okay, so I've completely lost the train of thought because of that. So what we do, guys, is you just shift back again. And there are the guides. Okay. Connect with your loved one. When you feel that presence, trust it. Whether you sense them or not, converse with them. Whether you hear them or see them or not, ask for a sign to validate the presence that you sense. And hopefully you'll get that sign in the next couple of days. Keep doing that. My sip of the divine is an excellent practice. Most of my team members that help me in this work have loved ones across the veil, several of them children, and they use the sip of the divine and they get great connections. But I'm sure that their loved ones across the veil are also already experiencing other lifetimes, and yet we still connect with them. So play the sign game, but ask them once you get a clear connection. I never thought to ask that of Susan. I'm going to do it next time I connect with her. Susan, have you reincarnated? Oh, she just said yes. So we're going to have to ask about what she's doing. And then how do you get evidence for that? Ask, listen, feel in your gut. Do I trust this? And then ask for a sign. Validate this with a beautiful sign from across the veil. And just keep engaging that way. All right?
So if they reincarnate, how could you join them in the next life as a soulmate then?
I don't, you may not have really understood what I shared in the beginning. Think oversoul, multiple lives within the same soul, all playing at once.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Do I have time for 3 more? The guides say there is no limit. So we're going to bring on, let's see, Lisa, didn't I already have you on stage? You did. So we have 2 more. We're going to bring on Nicole and Denise, and then we'll have our wild card moment. I still don't know what that's going to be from Spirit. They'll tell us, I guess, at the last moment. Cool. All right. So Nicole, you want to come on? Yep. All right.
Hi.
Welcome
I
to the
hope
show.
you can hear me. I'm so glad to be here.
Great.
Yes.
So what's your question related to our topic?
So I had a dream of a statue 3 nights ago. I had a dream 3 nights ago of a statue.
Okay. Uh-oh.
And my friend tells me that it's Sekhmet and that I was her in a past life and I'm really struggling. And I'm really grasping that because she was a very mean person in that
Okay.
life.
That came from a dream?
Yeah.
Do you trust it?
I do because I saw the dream. I saw the statue. Like yes, I could draw
Okay.
it.
So here's the deal. Remember what I just shared about how the sea is consciousness and is not affected by any of this. All of these are experiences for the growth. Your past life, if you trust that, and I would ask for signs and validation because often what's tumbling around in our mind comes up in dreams for a reason. To blame yourself for a past life, to worry about a past life, is very much human fear. The soul is experiencing the fullness of it. Your soul now is whole and complete. Anything you did in any lifetime is an opportunity for forgiveness and growth and learning more about why we're here and who we are. So I would say, wow, that's why I took a sip out of this drink earlier. You see what's on this cup? Wow, isn't that interesting? Whether I was Sekhmet or not, what does that lifetime have to teach me? What characteristics and activities in that life that came up am I still possibly displaying in this lifetime? And that dream is showing me time to change that, time to come more in alignment with the soul. This is great. Now I don't have to repeat that in this lifetime. You see, it's an opportunity. Beating yourself up for that is wasted time. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. It's like a blank canvas. All right. You get to paint whatever beautiful story from here on out is in alignment with your soul, which is kindness, compassion, beautiful actions in service to others and yourself. All right. You're
Thank you.
fine. You are fine. All right. You're beautiful. Light. Everybody can just see it already. Okay. Just keep shining. Thank you. The reason I picked up my pen and my notepad when she talked about a dream is I need to tell you all that I will not be live here the next 2 Sundays. I have 2 exciting shows lined up for you. One of them has to do with dreams. The reason I won't be here is Ty and I are going to be celebrating our 30th anniversary. We may be on different planes, but we are soulmates for sure. 30th wedding anniversary in June. We met in Japan, so we're going on the trip of a lifetime to Japan, and we're going to be gone over 2 Sundays. So next Sunday, please gather for this premiere of the show next Sunday when my guest is a Qigong master. His name is Master Mingtong Gu, and we had a really great conversation already recorded, already ready to show at the same time next Sunday. The week after that, a beautiful conversation with the Queen of Dreams, Teresa Chung. And she is my first guest since I've been doing this show since 2018 to talk about dreams. I can't believe I never talked about them till now. I learned so much that I've been having a great time analyzing my dreams ever since we pre-recorded that. So mark your calendars for that. And then 3 Sundays from now, I'll be back live with a new topic submitted by one of you. All right. So my last guest coming on today with a question, hopefully about reincarnation, Denise.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and congratulations for you and Ty on your 30th wedding anniversary.
Like that. Thank you.
And also, I keep missing you in Marin County. I'm in the peninsula, and every time you come on over there, I always miss you. So hopefully you come back soon.
I'll make it a point.
Thank you. All right, so I have one big question. I am a medium myself, and what I find is I track multiple loved ones across the veil. And there's one in particular person that was very close to me. And I'm finding that I can no longer connect with this person because when I do the sign game, I kind of conclude that this person has crossed over to the next lifetime. And when I think back, I think, why has he moved on when we're still kind of growing up and we're still kind of going through our growing pains and everything like that?
Yeah.
And I'm coming to the conclusion that, like, a lot of times I feel like it's too painful to see loved ones going through life and going through, you know, obstacles and everything like that. Do you find that
Oh, I don't at all. I don't at all, because I know that the state we're in after we leave here is a state of pure love. We are surrounded by that love. We know ourselves as love, and that gives us the greater understanding of why we chose these lives here, why we're going through that. And they know that part of their task is to shower us with that love, to observe us. I have the same questions you probably have from time to time. And that is, why don't I hear from my mom all the time? And the answer I've gotten is, she is having her own experiences over there. I don't really need to hear from her again, but I have zero doubt she'll show up as needed now and will be, of course, lined up to greet me when it's my time to cross the veil. And we will laugh at how she didn't get it when she was here, definitely on different levels. and how much I learned because she was my mom with her story, and that each of our souls decided to do that. But every soul that I've talked to in thousands of readings has shown me they understand so much more now because they see us in a different light. Just yesterday, that happened, that a mother in spirit said to her daughter in the reading that I did here for her, I see so much more now and understand the dynamics differently. Okay.
Yeah.
Just,
Thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you for coming on with that important topic. Yeah. It really is all about love. So imagine that you're immersed in that love now. You are, all of us, at the soul level. And the guides say, for the wild card moment, we are actually going to do a guided meditation. It's already almost an hour, but we're going to go over. So hopefully you all can stick around a little bit. They're going to walk us through the Bless Me method, the steps of that. It's not going to be like a teaching moment. It's going to be just flowing through those various steps with the Hara method first. So we're going to go slowly, and they're going to guide us to some kind of experience. I'm getting a glimpse of what they're going to guide us to. If you're driving, do not do this. Come back later and listen, because it'll remain on my YouTube channel. But those of you who can, just set down your devices and listen, set down anything you're doing, and we're going to go deep. All right. So if you join me, please, we're going to set the intention to enter an expanded state of consciousness to find out about a past life that we have lived. That is our intention. So we're going to begin by making sure we're centered. Put a hand on your belly just below the navel, focusing, holding attention on the Hara, the center of you. Anchor that awareness into the earth. Feel your feet on the floor. Send energy from your Hara down into the earth. And now raise it back up through your legs, fully embodied. We don't need to leave the body to have an experience of altered states. Move awareness past the Hara up to the heart. You can put one hand on the heart. Here I am in soul awareness. Moving awareness up to the head, behind the eyes. Here I see from the soul's perspective, raising it up and connecting with higher consciousness above the head. Aligning all of the body's energy centers now. Let's truly centered now. Slow down your whole energy field with a nice relaxing breath. Breathing in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1 through the mouth, 2, like a big ah, 3. Releasing tension, 4, 5, relaxing fully, 6. Let's relax even more. Into the nose, 1, 2, feeling so at ease, 3, 4, exhaling, slowing that busy mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more vagus nerve breath in through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Busy mind slowing as you exhale, 1, 2, a big ah, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue breathing rhythmically. No need to focus fully on the breath, but if the mind wanders, come back to the breath. Allow yourself to be breathed by the soul. As we move awareness to the heart now, imagine a beautiful light at the center of you, connected to all that is. Turn up that light, filling your entire sphere, your energy field with beautiful golden light. Feel the warmth of that light filling you and now radiating outward all around you. Imagine those in spirit seeing your light glowing brighter. You are the one who turns up your light. And one of the most beautiful ways to turn up your light is with thoughts of gratitude. There is always something to be grateful for. Find that one thing now, holding gratitude in the heart. Feel the gratitude. Radiate it from your very being. I am so grateful for. Lifting your vibration even more. Bring to mind someone or something you are grateful for having in your life eternally as part of your soul family. Holding them in awareness. Give gratitude for that soul-to-soul connection. Affirming you travel through lifetimes together. Imagine a shimmering wall of light out in front of you. See it glittering. Move that wall of light in your mind's eye towards you. It's passing through your energy field and picking up any dense energy, any thoughts of any lower vibration that don't serve you. It's passing through your field now, through the body, picking up any energy that doesn't serve you as it moves out through the back of you, like a dusting off of your energy field. And just to make sure you're perfectly clear for this moment of connection, that wall of shimmering light moves back forward again, back through your field, cleansing and clearing your field as it moves through the body and out through the front. You are now aligned with the soul in a beautiful, coherent state. The mind has been slowed down. Thoughts will still arise. Just let them pass through the sky of awareness like temporary clouds. Experiencing peace right here, right now. Experiencing higher energy. Any unusual sensations are simply energy moving. Anything frightening is simply a passing cloud. Send it love. This is your superpower. Loving with all your heart and soul. Imagine the boundaries of your energy field now porous, dynamic, moving. Breathe in, and as you exhale, with intention, expand those boundaries outward. You are now merged with the sea of consciousness, a limitless being, yet still in form. You are both incarnated for a while and a limitless expression of the one. We're going to surrender now our complete identification with the story by setting it aside. I set aside my temporary self and shift now to soul awareness. It is always here. It is always now. And we ask one of the other hands that we as a greater soul are playing right now, whether or not that incarnation still exists. That role is part of your very being as a greater soul, and it is still influencing you in this lifetime, whether for what you consider good or not so good. certain traits, certain characteristics. You need not have been a famous person in another life. But we would like to see now from the greater soul's perspective, in one all-encompassing knowing that comes through in a burst of knowing, what lifetime is still impacting you in this lifetime in a way that will prove helpful to become aware of. In a burst of knowing, you'd suddenly know, male or female, likes and dislikes, one character trait lighting up like a billboard with a light shined on it. This is what we're working on now because it was so prominent and unfinished in that previous lifetime. You simply know. Ah, this is a gift carried over from that lifetime. And as I play with these characteristics and upgrade them in this lifetime, that other hand is free to play with other characteristics. And the entire soul rejoices. Ah, I see this now as a gift, and I will no longer beat myself up for this trait. I have a knowing about that past life. The whole story is here. I look forward to exploring that as it unfolds in future meditations. I wish to know more about that story. I wish to know more about my soul family and what role they played in that lifetime, but only for the joy of it. For this incarnation, where my attention is now, is why my attention is in this body at this time. I take what I can learn from that other story, and I grow with it as I flow with it here and now. Thank you, Spirit, for showing me that I chose this lifetime, and I chose those other lifetimes for the joy of it. And even when it is not fun or enjoyable in this lifetime, thank you for showing me how it leads to bringing more life into my world here and those around me. I would like you now, Spirit, to show me in one flash of knowing, either an image or a word, a thought, what sign will appear in awareness in my life externally in the next few days to validate the knowing that I experience here today. Reveal it now. And there you have it. As whatever you just saw or heard arises in wondrous ways in your life, unexpected, and yet fully expected in awareness. Rejoice, make a note of it, and know you are so very loved. Feel gratitude in your heart for this experience, for what lies ahead, for being here now in this loving community. And as I count back from 3 to 1, you will come back to normal waking consciousness, feeling alive, invigorated, hopeful, and loved. 3, 2, 1. Oh, how cool was that? I have a feeling my content curator, Christy, will turn that into a standalone video, a meditation that we will put either on my website on the gifts page, or but definitely on this YouTube channel. And I hope you'll do it again sometime. And I hope that you will come back to the comments here on YouTube and put down what you experienced, and then come back again and write down the wondrous sign that you got and how it shows up in your life. Okay? All right, that was awesome. As you can see across the bottom, I'm asking you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. That pushes this channel out to more people so that they can find our community and hopefully feel the love. All right, I sure felt it from all of you. Let's see, how do I stop that scrolling? There we go. As I said, won't be here live the next 2 Sundays, but I'll be with you in spirit. Sending lots of love your way. Yes, I feel your love too. Thank you all so much. What a joy to be part of the Always Connected community. Hope to see you. If you don't hear me tonight on Coast to Coast Radio, hope to see you at our live book launch event Tuesday and at the Monthly Connection Tuesday night. In the meantime, I love you all so much. Have a great week. Bye-bye.